Picture the last city you visited. Every overpass above you, every foundation beneath you, every high-rise cutting into the sky. Now ask yourself one question. What is holding all of it up? Not steel, not wood, not glass, concrete. The same material that built the Roman Pantheon 2,000 years ago is the same substance being poured into the ground right now as you watch this video. And for a century, the Western construction industry has been perfectly comfortable with that fact. Perfectly comfortable with a material that, by its own chemistry, pumps roughly 8% of all human carbon emissions into the atmosphere every single year. More than aviation, nearly as much as every road vehicle on Earth combined. But in 2025, a team of Chinese researchers published a finding that should have dominated every engineering headline on the planet. It did not get the attention it deserved, and the reason that matters to you is this. The companies and governments who did pay attention are already moving, and the gap they are opening up will not close easily. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this changes everything. To understand the weight of what just happened, you need to understand how deeply concrete is embedded into the architecture of modern civilization. Not just in buildings, but in the entire system of assumptions that surrounds them. Every building code written in every country on Earth is built around concrete's behavior. Every structural engineer trained in the last 100 years learned to calculate loads, stresses, and lifespans using concrete as a given. Every city on the planet that needed to scale, from Houston to Hamburg to Hanoi, reached for the same gray powder. And the numbers are staggering. The world produces over 4 billion metric tons of cement annually. China alone consumed more cement between 2011 and 2013 than the United States used across the entire 20th century. Not in a decade, not in a generation, in 2 years. Western construction companies like Lafarge-Holcim, Cemex, and Heidelberg Materials have generated hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue selling essentially the same product using essentially the same chemistry that has been in place since the Industrial Revolution. Their pricing power, their infrastructure, their patents, all of it depends on nothing fundamental ever changing. But here's what most people are completely missing. Researchers were not ignoring the problem. They were trapped by it. The carbon in cement is not a side effect of burning dirty fuel. It is baked into the molecular transformation that makes cement work. Heat limestone past 1,400 degrees Celsius, and the rock chemically releases carbon dioxide as a direct byproduct of becoming the binding agent that holds everything together. Run your kilns on solar power, and you still get the emissions. The problem is in the recipe itself. That is the cage the industry has been locked inside for over a century, and that is the cage a research team in China just found a way out of. Then something shifted. In early 2025, researchers working across Tongji University, the China Building Materials Academy, and Shanghai Jiaotong University published a paper describing a process they called compression casting of concrete. CCC for short. The premise was almost offensively simple. For generations, concrete had been poured into forms and left to cure under the influence of gravity and time. Vibration equipment helped settle the mix. Chemical additives were tinkered with endlessly. But the fundamental act of making concrete had never changed. You mix it, you pour it, you wait. What the Chinese team asked was a question nobody had fully pursued at scale. What happens if you apply serious mechanical pressure to fresh concrete before it hardens? Between 5 and 15 megapascals of force, the kind of hydraulic pressure found in heavy industrial pressing equipment, was applied to the wet mix from the outside in. The particles were forced together so tightly that trapped water and air had nowhere left to go. They were pushed out of the structure entirely. The result was a concrete with roughly 45% fewer internal voids than any standard mix. That number matters enormously. Those voids are not just empty space. They are where every major failure mode in concrete originates. Cracks begin at voids. Water enters through voids. Road salt and seawater chemicals travel through voids to reach the steel reinforcement inside, where they corrode it silently over years until a structure begins to fail from the inside. Freeze and thaw cycles destroy concrete by expanding water trapped in those voids. Eliminate the voids and you address nearly every long-term weakness of the material simultaneously. Compressive strength increased by over 80% in the highest pressure test batches. Resistance to water penetration, chemical attack, and thermal cycling all improved substantially. And here's the detail that made structural engineers put down whatever they were doing and read more carefully. Not one new ingredient was added to the mix. No exotic polymer. No rare additive. No reformulated chemistry. The same materials, handled differently, produced a fundamentally superior product. But that is not the whole story. Because the team did something that broke with every convention of the industry. They published everything. Not a teaser. Not a licensed summary. Every raw data set. Every microscopic image of the internal structure. Every force measurement from nanoscale mechanical testing. Released publicly under an open license for any researcher on Earth to download, replicate, and verify. In an industry where proprietary methods are fiercely protected and competitive advantages are guarded through litigation, that level of transparency was almost as shocking as the results themselves. And what they discovered next caught even the engineers doing the verification work off guard. At the boundary between cement paste and stone aggregate, a microscopic zone known in materials science as the interfacial transition zone, standard concrete has always had a fundamental structural weakness. This zone is looser and more porous than either material on its own, which means it is the first place stress fractures form when a structure is under load. Under compression casting, the interfacial transition zone showed 35% fewer voids than in conventional concrete. The weakest link in the entire structural chain had been directly reinforced. Not by adding material, by reorganizing the material already there. When independent labs in Germany and Japan replicated the core experiments, their results matched. That is when the industry realized this was not a research curiosity. It was a production technology. Here is where the panic started. 34 international patent families filed in 2025 and early 2026 now cite the original Chinese research, with filings originating from Germany, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom. These are not academic references. Patent filings represent companies and research consortiums committing legal and financial resources toward a technology because they believe it will define the next generation of their industry. LafargeHolcim, one of the largest cement producers on the planet, with annual revenues exceeding $27 billion, signed a 5-year licensing agreement with Beijing Cement Group to adapt compression casting methods for European prefabricated construction. A company that size does not sign a 5-year deal with a Chinese research partner because the results look interesting. They do it because they are behind and they know it. In Germany, a government-funded research consortium ran full-scale compression cast deck trials on a live highway project near Berlin. In Japan, the Obayashi Corporation, one of the country's largest construction conglomerates, launched a formal joint research program with Beijing University of Civil Engineering, directly targeting cement reduction targets tied to the 2025 Osaka Expo. South Korea's Hyundai Engineering announced domestic manufacturing plans for a structurally related panel technology, positioning it as the foundational material for its next phase of smart city development. But wait, it gets worse for anyone still dismissing this as a regional story. In 2026, China exported 12.4 million metric tons of carbon-cured concrete additives to the United States, the United Kingdom, and Southeast Asia. That represents a 10-fold increase compared to just 2 years earlier. The global construction supply chain is already reorganizing around Chinese material science. The shift is not coming, it is underway. The economics driving this are ruthless in their clarity. In carbon-taxed markets across the European Union, a 40% reduction in cement content translates directly into lower compliance costs per structure. Combined with the strength improvements that reduce the total material needed per project, and the durability gains that extend maintenance cycles by decades, the total cost picture for developers adopting CCC is dramatically better than for those who do not. This is not an environmental preference. It is a financial advantage that compounds over every project. But here's what most people are completely missing. And this is the part that deserves your full attention. Running in parallel to the compression casting story, a Chinese company called Broad Group was quietly solving a related but distinct problem. Not how to make concrete better, but how to build structures that need far less of it in the first place. Their technology, known as BCore, uses a panel system derived from aerospace engineering logic. Two thin steel skins separated by a geometric lattice of hollow steel tubes, precision engineered to distribute structural stress the way an aircraft fuselage does, through geometry rather than mass. The result is a structural panel that weighs less than 1/10 of an equivalent reinforced concrete slab, while carrying comparable loads. In 2025, a 10-story building in Chengdu was assembled using BCore modules in under 30 hours. The workers were not rushing. The system is simply designed to go together the way a precision instrument goes together. Every component made to fit, every connection designed for speed. What made global engineers take seismic performance data seriously was the physics advantage in earthquake zones. Concrete is heavy. Heavy structures generate enormous forces during ground movement. BCore's dramatically lower mass changes the structural response to seismic events in ways that conventional concrete frames cannot easily replicate. For the densely populated earthquake-prone regions of Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Latin America, that is not a marginal improvement. It is a different category of safety. By 2030, analysts at the International Energy Agency project that global construction activity will require an additional 230 billion square meters of new floor space to meet population and urbanization demand. The materials used to build that space will determine whether the construction sector contributes to or undermines every climate target currently on the table. C, and BCor are not competing for the same market. They are addressing complementary parts of the same problem, and deployed together, their combined impact on cost, weight, speed, and emissions is substantially larger than either delivers independently. Paint the picture forward from here. Life cycle models built on the 2025 research suggest that applying compression casting to just 30% of new structural concrete globally could eliminate approximately 850 million metric tons of carbon dioxide annually. For reference, that exceeds the total annual emissions of Germany. Every power plant, every factory, every vehicle, every farm, combined. One process change, applied to less than a third of global output. Delivering that result. The people in this industry who understood that number in early 2025 did not wait for a government mandate or a trade publication to validate it. They filed patents. They signed licensing agreements. They broke ground on manufacturing facilities. Because in any competitive market, the company that moves first on a structural cost advantage does not just win the next contract. It resets the pricing expectations for every contract that follows. The barriers to adoption are real. Building codes move slowly. Equipment retrofits require capital, and workforce training takes time. None of that is an argument against the technology. It is simply the friction between what is scientifically possible and what becomes globally standard. And that friction is being overcome right now, project by project, country by country. The question that should be sitting with you is this. If a breakthrough this significant was hiding inside a process used billions of times every single day, what else is hiding in plain sight? And who is going to find it first? Every road you have ever driven on, every bridge you have ever crossed, every building you have ever walked into, the material holding all of it up has not fundamentally changed in over a century. Until now. China did not announce this with fanfare. They published the data. They let the math speak. And the math was loud enough that the largest construction companies in Europe, Japan, and South Korea started rewriting their roadmaps within months. That is how real breakthroughs move, not through press releases, through receipts. If this video shifted how you see the infrastructure around you every single day, give it a like and subscribe. We cover exactly these kinds of shifts before they make the mainstream news cycle. And leave your answer in the comments. Do you think Western construction companies can close this gap in time? Or has the window already passed?